Hi friends, welcome back to another session of EC Made Easy. We are looking how a three-layered device called a bipolar junction transistor works. So in this regard, we have just seen how a bipolar junction transistor should be constructed to create wonders. And in this regard, we have found that the three layers called emitter, base, and collector should be sized such that emitter is of moderate size, collector is of large size, base is very small in size, and as far doping concentration is concerned, emitter should be heavily doped, base should be very lightly doped, and collector should be moderately doped. In this regard, what happens is the emitter, moderate in size, heavily doped, will have a large number of charge carriers. Collector, large in size, moderately doped, and hence will have almost equal number of charge carriers as that of emitter region, whereas base region is first small in size, second lightly doped. Therefore, very few number of charge carriers are available in the base, and this is what we claim that going to create wonders. How does it do? Let us check out. So let's begin our journey with this conventional three-layer. So this is our emitter, moderate size. This is our base, very narrow in size, and the collector, very large in size. And to have a better understanding, let us stick to one type of transistor. So let it be a NPN transistor. So when you are working with NPN transistor, so we have large number of free electrons here because of this region is an N region doped with a large number of pentavalent impurities, and this region is doped with a trivalent impurity, but the concentration of this impurity is very small. Therefore, very small number of holes are available in this p-type material called the base, whereas in the n-type material called the collector, again almost equal number of electrons are available as you can see in the emitter, though it is moderately doped, but due to its large size, the total number of free electrons here will be almost equal to this. So as long as it is this, you don't find any miracles happening. So for miracles to happen, so let's make these electrons to flow. So we have a large number of electrons here. So these electrons, if you just create some motion in them through something called a biasing. So we forward bias this junction. So this is our familiar junction as we have seen. This is N-type material. This is P-type material. If you just look at only emitter and base, it looks like a diode, a PN junction. So just forward bias this PN junction. Then what would happen is these electrons surge into the base region, and because these electrons are large in number, so they rush into base region, and what happens in the base is few electrons get an opportunity to occupy the holes because very small number of holes are available here, so few of them get an opportunity to occupy the holes. Then what would happen with the rest of the electrons? Rest of the electrons, they just rush into the other side and they get into collector region. Why? Two reasons. Number one, large number of electrons had came in, very small number of holes available. So only a few electrons could occupy these holes. Something has to do with the other electrons, and because the region is so narrow that the momentum of the electrons made them to reach the other end of the base, and they were pushed into collector. So small number of holes availability will make small number of electrons sit here. All other electrons are pumped into the collector just because of the narrow size of the base. So these two are the reasons why a large amount of electrons are pumped into collector. Okay, what would happen next? So there is an electric imbalance now. Some electrons have left this region, therefore it is now positively charged. One extra electron is sitting in this hole, so there is extra electrons here compared to the number of protons, and many electrons have entered into this region, and therefore this region has now grown negatively charged, and this cannot remain like this. Therefore we need some way to pump them out and get them back to their own positions. So that one, so we need something to pull out these electrons. So to pull out electrons, yes, we need a positive terminal of the battery and create a path for these to continue. So what would happen is the electron which stopped here after occupying a hole cannot stay here forever, because that's going to create imbalance in number of protons and number of electrons. So that has to be some way pumped out. So that will be pumped out from here, and rest of the electrons which have reached collector cannot stay in collector, therefore they also will be pumped out from the collector. So they come back and both together continue their journey back to the emitter. So in this way, what would happen is some electrons, because of large availability due to this forward bias, enter base region, and few holes available, so very few electrons occupy the holes. The rest of them continue their journey because of narrow region, so they reach other end and then they get into the collector. They cannot stay here, so they come out. So for making that come out, we connect this, and if you look at it, the N type of material is connected with the positive terminal, and P type of the material is connected with the negative material. So a negative battery is connected to P type, positive battery connected to N type, and still there is a current flow, and this the situation is the reverse biasing of this. So we reverse bias collector base junction to continue this effect, and we forward bias the emitter base junction to initiate this action. So unless until you talk numerically, it may not be easy to understand what exactly is going on. So let's assume that some 1001 free electrons were there in this per unit volume. Let us assume one hole is there in the base region. So that's what is required for us now. Don't have to worry about what is there at the collector region. Okay, 1001 electrons per unit volume were there in the emitter. So when it is forward biased, some 1001 free electrons cross the junction. After crossing the junction, one electron will get occupied with the hole. So because of this, the remaining 1000 electrons have to enter the collector. So that's the simplest way I could initiate this argument. 1001 electrons crossed base emitter junction, one stopped there at the base, remaining 1000 crossed this junction, entered here. They cannot stay in this region because they are extra players here, so they should be pumped out. Therefore, 1000 electrons come out from here, one electron come out from here, and these all together 1001 electron get into this, and this continues because this potential is there will not allow these electrons to remain stable here. They again pump them out into base. One remains at base, other 1000 get into collector, cannot stay in this because they are extra players, so they are pumped out again, and 1000 comes out here, one here, 1001 back here, and this process continues round and round and round. That makes a current to flow. So if you assume that this 1001 electrons making round every unit time, if it is going to say create some 1001 microampere of current, then this one electron making round per that unit time is going to create 1 microampere of current, and the 1000 electrons which are moving through the collector are going to make 1000 microampere of current. Done. So that's it for now. What these are meant, and in reality we are talking in the physical sense, but is still not making much sense because there is a confusion that when reverse bias is there, how does it conduct? Yes, definitely there will be a confusion. And let me clear out that one, that this conduction is because of the electrons, and the electrons in this base region are minority carriers. Yes, in p-type material, electrons are minority carriers, and as we discussed in our reverse bias class, we found that only minority carriers will participate in reverse current, or whenever it is reverse biased, only minority carriers participate. And because of this pumping, we have created very large number of minority carriers, and these minority carriers cross the junction without any problem, and hence this current is formed. Still, I hope you're not convinced. So yes, definitely it should be convincible only when you talk in terms of energy, not in this physical model. So let us take up our journey into the energy line, and discuss how exactly this is happening in our next session. So till then, take care. Bye.